In the midst of a raging storm, a Navy SEAL made an unexpected decision to stop and rescue two helpless puppies stranded in the snow. What happened next would change everything. Little did he know, this act of kindness would lead to a dangerous discovery that no one saw coming. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The storm howled through the isolated mountainside, whipping snow across the barren landscape like an unforgiving torrent. Visibility was near zero, and every step seemed to cut through the biting cold like shards of ice. The wind screeched as it raked across the frozen earth, and the landscape was a blur of white empty, desolate and unforgiving dot in the midst of this chaos. A Navy SEAL, dressed in heavy gear, trudged through the snow, his breath visible in the frigid air. He had a mission, nothing more, nothing less. His mind was sharp, his focus unwavering. The SEAL was trained for this cold danger, uncertainty, but even he couldn't deny the gnawing feeling that something was off. The mountains felt alive with danger, and every crunch of snow under his boots seemed to echo louder in the silence. The mission ahead was crucial, but even the best of soldiers knew that in such an environment, everything could change in an instant. The SEAL continued to push forward through the storm, the wind cutting through his gear as he kept his eyes fixed ahead. He had a job to do, and nothing was going to distract him. Not the snow, not the biting cold, not even the nagging feeling in the back of his mind that something wasn't right. His radio crackled in his ear, but he tuned it out. Focus, stay on task. He was close to his objective now, he could feel it. He had been tracking enemy movement for days, the storm just another obstacle in his way. His mind shifted to his mission, neutralize the enemy and extract intel. Simple, right? But in these conditions, nothing was ever simple. Suddenly, amidst the howling wind, a soft sound broke through the storm. At first, it was almost imperceptible, just a faint whimper, but it stopped him dead in his tracks. His heart skipped a beat. He scanned the area, eyes narrowing. The sound came again, this time unmistakable. Two small, shivering shapes emerged from the snow, their bodies barely visible in the whiteout. Two puppies helpless, their fur matted with snow, eyes wide with fear. The sight took the SEAL by surprise. He knelt down instinctively, a pang of sympathy stirring inside him. His training told him to stay focused, to press on. But something in those innocent eyes pulled at him. The storm raged around him, but the puppies needed help. The SEAL hesitated, his mission momentarily forgotten. The SEAL took a careful step forward, his gaze never leaving the two shivering puppies. He crouched low to check their condition, his gloved hands gently reaching out to reassure them. Their fur was matted and wet from the snow, their tiny bodies trembling. For a moment, everything else faded, the storm, the mission, the cold. It was just him and the puppies, but then something caught his eye, just a flicker of movement, something out of place beneath the snow. His instincts kicked in, but it was too late. One of the puppies, eager for attention, bounded forward, almost pulling away from the SEAL's grip. The soldier's eyes snapped to the ground where the puppy had run, and the sense of unease returned. His mind raced. Something felt wrong. He wasn't sure what, but it was a feeling he'd learned to trust during years of training in combat. He noticed the ground was different here, darker, too even. His boots sank deeper than usual, and the snow around him seemed unusually compacted. In that split second, he saw it, the telltale wires buried in the snow, the carefully concealed pressure plate. His heart skipped a beat as the realization hit him. This wasn't an accident. This was a trap, set specifically for him. The enemy had been waiting. If he hadn't stopped to help the puppies, he would have stepped right into it. Triggering the deadly explosive, panic surged in him. The puppies had saved his life without even knowing it. The SEAL's breath caught in his throat as he took a step back, his heart pounding in his chest. The trap was deadly, its hidden pressure plate barely visible beneath the snow. If he had moved forward even just a little, it would have been over. But as his mind raced, he realized something else, one of the puppies. The smaller one was tugging at his sleeve, growling low and shaking. For a brief moment, he thought the dog was just scared. But then the puppy took another step toward the trap. Its tiny body was tense, its ears flat against its head. And then, with a sudden, sharp bark, the puppy darted forward, running straight at the pressure plate. "No!" The seal shouted, lunging forward to grab the dog, but it was too late. The puppy's small body brushed against the wires, triggering a slight shift in the trap's mechanism. For a heartbeat, everything seemed to freeze. Then there was a loud click. The trap didn't go off. The mechanism had been disrupted. The seal froze in disbelief, looking down at the puppy who, without hesitation, had saved his life. His pulse raced, his mind still reeling. The puppies had instinctively protected him, warning him before it was too late. They weren't just animals, they were his heroes. The seal's pulse was still racing as he dropped to his knees, staring at the puppies. They were both watching him, their eyes full of trust and loyalty. His heart clenched with gratitude. He knew he had to act fast. There was no time to waste. This trap could still be triggered at any moment. He reached for his radio, his fingers trembling slightly. "Base, this is SEAL Team 3. I've encountered a booby trap highly sophisticated. Need immediate backup, over." His voice was steady, but inside his mind was spinning. The storm continued to rage, but now his mission had taken an unexpected turn. Within minutes, his team's response came through the static. "Roger that, SEAL. Stay put, backup en route. We've got you covered." He didn't wait for instructions. He needed to make sure this was handled. He carefully moved away from the trap, keeping the puppies close as he checked his surroundings. It wasn't just his life on the line now. They were all vulnerable. When his team arrived, they quickly moved into action, defusing the trap with precise movements. A sense of relief washed over him as they safely neutralized the threat. But as they worked, they discovered something even worse. Another seal, caught in a similar trap, helpless and waiting for rescue. As the last of the wires were cut and the trap defused, the seal turned to the puppies. Still sitting at his feet, their fur matted with snow, he couldn't help but smile. These two little creatures had done something extraordinary. They had saved his life. And now they were a part of something much bigger. They hadn't just been helpless animals caught in a storm. They were heroes. His team looked down at the puppies, their expressions a mixture of disbelief and admiration. One of the officers, a seasoned vet with years of field experience, shook his head in awe. "Those little guys, they knew what they were doing. It's like they understood the danger." The seal nodded, his mind still processing the events. The puppies had reacted without hesitation, with an intelligence that went beyond instinct. It wasn't just luck. They had saved him. In that moment, the SAL made a decision. "We're keeping them," he said firmly. "They've earned their place with us." The team nodded in agreement, each member recognizing that these puppies were more than just companions. They were part of the team now. As they made their way back to base, the puppies trotted along beside them, their small paws leaving little prints in the snow. They had proven themselves worthy, and the seal knew that they would be valuable allies in the missions to come. The days that followed were filled with training and integration. The puppies, now named Shadow and Scout, adapted quickly to their new life as Navy working dogs. The SEALs, initially skeptical, were soon won over by their sharp instincts and unwavering loyalty. Shadow had an uncanny ability to sniff out hidden threats, while Scout's quick reflexes made him a natural at detecting explosives. As they trained together, the bond between the SEAL and the puppies deepened. They weren't just pets anymore, they were teammates, partners in every sense of the word. Shadow would sit beside him during long missions, her alert eyes scanning the surroundings. While Scout always seemed to know when danger was near, the SEAL felt a sense of pride each time he saw the puppies perform flawlessly. They had gone from being abandoned and shivering in a snowstorm to becoming an integral part of his team. It was clear together they were unstoppable. The puppies, once helpless and lost in a storm, had become legendary. Shadow and Scout weren't just Navy SEAL partners, they were heroes in their own right. Their loyalty, courage, and instinct saved lives, proving that even the smallest creatures can make the biggest difference when it matters most.